What's up? 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 What's up?
Hey.
My steady steppers. What is going on? What is up? What is up, my steady steppers? Welcome back to another lit situation. Cause y'all know I keep telling y'all we manifested everything into this reality, and we going to get those people that are on the same path as us that had those breakthroughs and that are really living their dream reality. So
Yeah.
y'all already know what's going on. No job too big or small. Just call RGC. We are your favorite property and we are your favorite property preservation company. And we are here to help you from A to Z with no headache in between. So let's roll into another fantastic episode with another fantastic guest.
Hey.
Man,
What's good, brother?
peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. How you flowing today?
Man, amazingly. I'm up, woke, moving, breathing. It's gravy.
Man, and there's so much abundance in just those words right there. So go ahead and introduce all the steady steppers so they can welcome you into their hearts.
My name is Karana Hosey, not Corona. Karana. I am the creator of the Blowing Bubbles podcast where we stay popping.
I like
Um,
that.
yeah, man, I'm a woman that wears, quite a few hats, but I'm a real estate broker, retired carpenter. Uh, do a few things here and there, but I'm a full-time realtor.
Okay. So now that name, Blowing Bubbles Podcast, so we stay popping. First of all, that slogan, like the way you put that together, I rocked with that. That's fire. So where did the Blowing Bubbles come from?
Uh, so I had been wanting to do a podcast for like a lot of years now. And I just never launched it. I went through one thing after another. Life kept lifing. And so I had one name and it just crushed my spirit when I did all this stuff to launch this podcast. And there was another podcast with that name that's very successful. I'm like, oh man. So I just kind of shelved it. Then another name came up and I was working with a brand expert last year. And this brand expert was like, okay, so the name was going to be last year, up until last year, Queen Mother Podcast. Cause I love Wakanda. I'm from the South Side of Wakanda.
Oh
And
wow.
And so I talked to this branding expert who apparently wasn't, from Wakanda. And he put a different I don't know, I let him douse the spirit of what I was feeling. And but it was a good thing because it made me search and it opened my mind. So last year, through tragedy, there was the school shooting in Uvalde, Texas, and the shooting right after that in Buffalo, New York. And so I had a nationwide Zoom meeting with my company, and nobody was talking. Like it was just you could feel the energy through Zoom. And
Oh wow.
this one lady, she broke the ice, and she's like, "Y'all, that lady looked like my grandma." And it got even heavier. And she said, I'm so stressed. What do y'all do to cope with stress?" Still nobody spoke. And so I broke the ice again and I said, well, when I'm really stressed, I blow bubbles. Man, everybody went crazy. Everybody went crazy. And so fast forward the next month when we had our that same meeting, the executive assistant to the CEO says, "Hey y'all, we got branded bubbles. So whenever you're stressed or anything, the CEO loved your idea, Karana, and they got company bubbles." I said, "Oh, this $30 billion company just took action in 2 weeks. Okay, let me go ahead and cop that name." Blowing Bubbles Podcast was born.
Wow. All
So
right.
it's a coping mechanism. My mission is to help mothers survive motherhood through sisterhood while finding a balance and building a legacy. And it's a lot of mothers out there experiencing overwhelm. They don't have either the resources or the coping skills. And I had 4 kids, and the first one was 5, when so all my kids were little at the same time, and I just never felt like I'm hearing a lot of these mothers feel. And so a lot of people are dismissive, and I never want to be dismissive of somebody's feelings, but just grab them by the hand and tell them, sis, you can make it through this, and let me show you some of the ways you can. So that's what we do. We just have fun. I mean, we get out there, and my passions are my most common passions are music, service, love, business, and food. So I always incorporate some of that into what I'm doing.
Oh wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. So I'm a father, and what you just spoke about actually the mothers having that support. So let's talk about that a little bit because I'm always one that's always willing to learn, and especially if it can help my boys or even help better the relationship between their mothers and I. What are some
Ooh.
things? Yeah, because I'm a young father, and I know sometimes my age um can sometimes show throughout my actions. So I'm always willing to learn to be better.
Well, let me
What
tell you something. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go
okay.
ahead.
What are some things that you're noticing from mothers that they feel like we as fathers could improve on?
Oh man, um, a lot of it is a breakdown in communication on both sides. That's the biggest thing. Some of it is hurt and lingering bitterness from both sides that block those avenues of communication, and it just breaks down unnecessarily because we can't process the pain and move on. And actually, tonight you need to be tuned in to the Blowing Bubbles podcast live at 8:45 because
Oh,
the
let's go.
topic,
I'm there.
the topic is the co-parent conversation.
I'm there. I'm there. Say less. I'm in the building.
Yes. And so I went, funny thing, I have these crazy random interactions all the time, and had this conversation with my server. I went out to eat one night, and the server, I don't know what it was about me that made him open up, but he's not been able to see his children, and his ex-wife is bitter, and it's all this stuff. So I'm just, my target audience is mothers, but I want to make sure that the men are heard. I will definitely give the men a platform to express, how they're feeling, what they're going through, what they need, so that it can be a safe space for everybody to be heard. And because I am, I consider myself to have successfully raised my children and had a healthy co-parent relationship in spite of a whole bunch of mess.
Yes, ma'am.
I feel like I'm an authority, and I'm one that can speak in this matter. So yeah.
Most definitely because me being in a different generation, I've realized the disconnect in communication within a lot of our younger a lot of the younger parents, and that is something that that I know, especially as fathers that care like myself, that sometimes we get so upset that we aren't able to communicate with the mothers, or the mothers aren't willing to hear us out, or if, like you were saying, that trauma and that emotion isn't addressed, then that disconnect is then only made worse between the parent or the father and that child, because as we know, the mother has like a lot of rights unless the father does these this long process of paperwork to get his actual rights. But it's like be able
See,
to
that's
suppress that.
that's that's not that's not how it's designed to work. Actually, both parents have equal rights. If your name is on that birth certificate, she does not have any more rights than you.
In Georgia now, well, I'm speaking about in Georgia, like in Georgia personally, I this is just me from my experience. In Georgia, just because you sign a birth certificate as well as even paying child support, that doesn't give you rights to that child. You have to
Hmm.
do a process called legitimation unless you're married. You had well that and that was too because I wasn't we weren't married prior to, so
Okay.
that made the whole process different.
Yeah, yeah. Let me go ahead and back up and say I'm not a lawyer and I'm not from Georgia.
Mhm.
So yes, every state would be different. So where I am from, and I had two children in Pennsylvania, two children in Ohio, and both of those states are not like that. They're much more favorable to the father, and you have equal rights under the law. If she named you on that birth certificate, that's it. Even if you don't pay child support, you have equal rights to that child.
Wow, that's something to learn.
Yeah,
That's definitely
yeah.
something to
And what I aspire to do is to be that resource that helps people to get those rights. You know, connect people with attorneys that can help and advocates that can mediate. So that sometimes stuff can be resolved with a heart to heart conversation and mediation. It doesn't always have to go through court. And I really want to. So what I do is avoid blanket statements and speak from the woman's perspective because I am a woman and I am a mother, and I listen to the fathers and the men and communicate what I've learned through that. But a lot of people, you'll hear a lot of people, they'll speak from something that they saw, heard, or went through, and then they use it and apply a blanket statement. I don't like that. I don't
yeah.
like that at all. It's a lot of miscommunication, misinformation, spreading like wildfires out here. And if it sounds good, it's like, oh yeah, because this is that and that's that. Not really.
Yeah, because then
So,
people could be like,
but yes, I would love to. I would love to invite you to my platform as well. I asked my guest tonight. I asked him, I'm like, you think your ex wife would come on?
hmm.
But she wouldn't. But he has children by more than one woman, and one of them agreed to come on. So it's gonna be interesting.
Oh, that's lit.
Or it's
Where
gonna be good.
where do
It's gonna
you
be live on YouTube as well as Facebook.
okay? Well, I
So Blowing
definitely
Bubbles podcast, everything. I prefer to have people watch via YouTube because, it's easier to monetize YouTube. I'm gonna keep it real. This is a business.
hey, keeping it a buck. We want to
Keep
get
it a
that
buck. Keep it a
monetization.
buck. I want my subscribers. Please follow Blowing Bubbles podcast. Everything from TikTok to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I'm all YouTube. And my personal page is my name. I'm not private anywhere.
Okay, yeah, I just
'Cause I'm a
added.
realtor, so my life is public anyway.
Yeah. So Steady Steppers, here is her podcast.
Bam.
Get to it. So y'all make sure y'all go tap in with her and let her know y'all came from the Steady Stepping Podcast so y'all can be blowing bubbles too. Let's
Stay
get it.
popping.
I like those colors that you got on there. So
Thank you. Thank you.
most definitely. What is a good way to just break that ice for any father or person that wants to restart a better communication process?
Every situation is going to be different, and it depends on the length of time that you've been absent. If you've had any connection with the child, if you have, and the severity of the brokenness between you and the mother. So everything would be different. If it was a situation, and sometimes a woman, I've seen this, and this is one of the situations that my guest is dealing with. The woman got married and the husband is kind of throwing interference. And that's so wrong. It's wrong because, bruh, you could be in his shoes tomorrow.
The tables turn quick.
Quick. That's one thing about a table. It's going to turn. So I I'm gonna talk through it the best I can without the other side being there. But man, it's so many layers to this. So I can't even give it away because I did a pre-interview with this man, and he dropped some stuff at the restaurant, but I was like, nah, it's more to this. So I did like an hour and a half interview with this guy, and
Mhm.
layer after layer after layer kept coming out. And because this is not tied to my pages, I'll drop this spoiler. So, steady steppers, y'all gonna get this nugget that nobody else knows, right?
Okay, okay.
One of my guests that's gonna be on my podcast tonight is my baby daddy. So, he's going to be kind of the voice of reason in talking to this brother from a man's perspective. And when I just feel like in my heart he's gonna be like, but you don't understand, and then that's when me and him can be like, oh, but by the way, no.
Yeah.
And I might even have his wife come on. So
Oh wow,
like
that's
we just all that was one of my requirements when we broke up. Anybody that I dated, if you can't fall in line, you can't be around here. We don't do drama. We don't do mess. I don't care. If there is no abuse from that parent on that child, there is zero excuse to interfere with the relationship. I firmly believe that and I stand on that. He gave me a million reasons to hate him. He gave me a million reasons to keep him out of my kids' lives. Or I could have used those reasons, but I never saw anything valid enough for me to say, nah, I never spit poison on his name to our children. Um, like, and he did the most, the most. And so, for the reasons that I know everything that I endured, I don't see no reason for why any woman, especially if you have sons, let that boy see his daddy. Let
man.
that boy see his daddy. Period. Let that girl see how a man is supposed to treat her through her father. This is important. I don't care how loving a man you get with, nothing like biology. These children have ways and tendencies and traits that come from their bloodline. Like, I act so much like my daddy, is crazy. If he wasn't in my life, I would be confused. And we need to know where we come from. It's so much confusion that could be avoided, like, especially when the man is trying. I don't, and it's not even about money. If he's trying to be there, then just let him be there. Just let him be there. My kids were born in the height of the crack era, and my ex, he got on drugs real bad. That's what broke us up. Not no woman, not anything else. He got on drugs, and I couldn't love him off of crack. And so it was like, um, how could I let my kids think any less of their father? I used to go to Toys R Us and mail toys to my house in his name.
Wow.
He's sleeping on behind the school or something. He wherever he was at, he got out there real bad, real bad. And so there was there was no part of me that wanted my son. And I have sons too. I have a daughter, but I have three sons. There was no way I wanted them to look up to who they should be able to look up to and not feel anything but pride. It didn't hurt. It didn't take anything from me. I only bought what I could afford to buy, what I was going to buy anyway. So if I was going to buy two gifts, I bought two, put one in his name. That didn't hurt me anything. And we have to love our children more than we hate the other.
Ooh, I like the way you put that. I like the way you put that
It's all about the kids. I chose him. He chose me. So whatever happened in between, that ain't the kid's fault. No matter what. Even if there's a case where your man is abusing you, if he don't hurt them kids, you just get out the way.
one.
Take you out of it.
That's powerful. And shout out to you, really and openly. I want to definitely give you some flowers because that took a whole nother level of overstanding as well as maturity on your behalf to go that extra mile because, like you said, you could have done all these negative things, but instead you still remembered that that's still their father, and they need to see him in the best light possible. Not
Absolutely.
from me, but I mean, not based on what I tell them, but based on what he shows them. So, what was the like? What was your mindset like? Did you so have you always had this mindset? Like,
Yeah.
I'm always gonna uplift him, or always
Yes.
make sure he's in a positive light, or
Always, always, always. So there was one thing that made me very conscious of it. Back in the day, the Montel Williams show. I don't know if you remember that talk show.
I heard of them. I heard of that show. I don't think I watched it. I heard of it.
So Montel had an episode where this woman was bitter and she was using her. She weaponized her children. That's what it is, using your kids against the father. And Montel, he checked the lady and he's like, you can't be telling your son, and she had sons. She said, you can't tell your sons his daddy ain't this and his daddy ain't that. That boy sees his reflection in his father. And she said, if you tell him your daddy ain't this, he's going to feel like he ain't that.
I
And that
never
stuck with
even
me.
connect that.
And I was in the 80s. I had my first child in 89. That was, that stuck with me all these years. I will never forget it.
Well, and I never until you said it at that moment, I never even connected that. Like when us as parents and even fathers sometimes when we get upset and we may speak down on their mother, that they do see reflections of each one. They see reflections of each parent within their self, and
Yes.
that could definitely,
It's,
man.
it can be detrimental, and it doesn't usually manifest itself till much later. And so it'll come out in a form of a behavior, or a child will live down to your expectations, and you don't even see how you set that fire ablaze. You know what I mean? You may not even realize that you told them they don't have to be anything because their daddy ain't nothing, their mama ain't nothing, your mama just a hoe. Okay, now you got a promiscuous little daughter.
No.
Or your mama's a hoe, and you talking to your son, you thinking you a man keeping it real with your son. Now he treats every woman like a hoe.
Mm.
There's so many consequences and repercussions to our negative words. You have to be careful with, there is power of life and death in that thing. You
Ah.
have to be mindful of every word that you speak, because it's going to come back one way or another. It's coming back to you. So i'm just I'm just thankful that I had, number one, a strong village, raising me, rearing me, watching me, guiding me, catching me before I got stupid. Um, and I always do everything I can to reciprocate, give it back to the universe. Somebody gave to me, so I freely give. I'm always open to be a part of someone's village.
And that's for sure. And that's peace and blessings, really, because you definitely speaking on our type of frequency over here on the Steady Stepping podcast. Because a lot of times, and even me, like what you just said, that about speaking down. Sometimes I know I may have said not the best things about their mother because I was upset.
Hmm.
So that definitely that gave me a thought. Like, okay, you need to check yourself, Destiny. Honestly, because a lot of times I feel like out of being pissed off or upset in the moment, we may not even realize what we had just said. And like, damn,
Kids
now
will never forget. They'll never forget.
they mind is so
Never.
fertile.
They're sponges, and they soak up everything.
Yeah, facts.
Yep.
So with 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 going into like with you in this space of helping these mothers, right? What is um what is the best way to really, I'd say, so what advice could the father, what are some things that the fathers could do, like personally? Because of course we know sometimes as men we don't always like, okay, I messed up here. What are some ways that they should really just have some, or some things that they can ask themselves to really reflect in the moment, like that'll bring them to a point of seeing it from the female's perspective? Because as a man, I can't always connect with a woman and her emotions. So
Right.
could you kind of bring us into your side of that spectrum?
Yeah, you again, I believe in the village concept. So if you have women that, you know, like, and trust, you respect, that you can lean on for guidance, ask them their opinion, somebody who's knowledgeable of the situation, has more knowledge. Like, I can tell you things based only on my experience or what you tell me. But if you have somebody like your mom, your sister, somebody close to you that knows the situation and you know is going to guide you truthfully, not in bias, truthfully, then I would say start there. Talk to that woman. Like my sons, especially my youngest son. I don't know if you heard my son going off. That's been him and his girlfriend. But I am that person. I vow to always be that person, a good in-law, to where my daughters-in-law call me. If there's a problem, they know that I'm not just going to be on the side of my son. I'm going to speak truthfully, and I'm going to speak always from a place of love. So if you have that person in your life, I would suggest start there, because they would be familiar with the situation. Again, I'm always open to be part of the village and listen. If your children's mother is open to like a mediation type situation, I'm here for it. We can do just like you and I are here. We can do a Zoom meeting, and I'd love to help you navigate and talk through, because I promise you, I've been through some of everything. My oldest child is 34 years old, so I've been through some of everything
Oh wow.
and seen it, done it. So my kids are 34, 33, 31, and 29. I'm sorry. My baby is 29.
Okay.
So in all these years I've been through, seen, heard, done, experienced pretty much anything you can think of. And I would love to share my wisdoms, help you prevent some of the headaches, heartaches that I've experienced. I would love to help y'all come to a peaceful place so that what's best for the children can be achieved.
Wow. And thank you for definitely providing that light and that resource to help people mediate through those situations, because a lot of times those emotions can kind of get blurry. So for you being that level-headed woman in the middle, thank you for that. Also, how would somebody get set up? How would somebody get in contact with you to set up I guess a mediation like that? How would
Um, you can hit my IG at Blowing Bubbles Podcasts or text. Let me look at the number. So this is my strictly for the podcast number, and this is how I will know that it's for that 404-492-6510.
okay.
So you can text me or call that number and leave a message, and I would love to help. My mission is to touch families, to reunite families. I had the kind of family that once you are in our family, we don't let you go. Like, you can't tell who's related to who. Like, my mother's side, my father's side, like, we all be in one big house. Like,
Oh wow, that's really
yeah.
so. What got you into real estate and wanted to be a real estate broker?
I'm a carpenter by trade, and
Okay.
for many years I've been investing and doing a lot, and I just wanted to do a different side of the business. I was tired of working physically,
Mm,
and so I did everything that I could to phone keep going off. I did everything I could to transition and without totally shifting industries, and so that's how I went into that. Yeah.
okay. So with carpentry, you was actually framing houses, or you was like on the inside doing the remodel types, or
I
what you?
did. I did a lot of it. So I'm Union. I'm from Ohio, and
Oh, okay.
we're Union up there. So I went to trade school. That was about a year long program, and so I got all of the trades: electrical, plumbing, carpentry, roofing, masonry, HVAC. I did it all, and it was something about carpentry that I loved it. I wanted to go into the Carpenters Union, and it took me 7 years from the time I graduated trade school to the time I got into the union. But at that time, Bill Clinton sent like billions and billions of dollars through HUD to renovate projects across the country. And so while I was trying to get into the union, man, I made so much daggone money rebuilding the projects. Like I made so much money. I had bought a house, paid my house off in 8 years. Like I was doing the most, man. It's a 6-bedroom house. I did the most. Yeah, yeah. And it's crazy to me how like not long after he sent all that money to renovate all those projects, then they start tearing down all the projects. Like, and this was like a nationwide initiative, but not even 10 years later, they demolished almost all the projects across the country.
That's ridiculous.
But they can't, fix the schools up.
We know how they go.
That's a whole nother podcast, man.
I'm telling you. So, with you being a real estate broker, what's the difference between a real estate broker and a real estate agent?
So, a broker is an agent that has proven himself for years. Every state has different minimum requirements, but in the state of Georgia, you have to be licensed in good standing for a minimum of 3 years to even be eligible to be a broker. So, and I'm licensed in Georgia, Missouri, and Kansas.
Oh, wow. That's what's up. So what you do what does a real estate broker do exactly?
It's still an agent. It's just, I'm able to manage. I'm able to stand alone. So if you were to go get your real estate license today, you have to, what we call, hang your license with a broker. You can't just open your own office. You have to be under a broker.
Oh.
So as a broker, I don't need a broker. I am a broker.
You the broker. Oh, so that's like taking the middleman out and becoming the actual source then.
Right.
That's lit. So right. So that means you like real estate then, since
I love real estate.
Yeah. What's your favorite part about real estate?
Man, my favorite part of it is not even transactional. I just like looking at houses. I love architecture. For real though, I could just look at houses and imagine how I would renovate it. Like, the carpenter in me is still very much active, mentally active. Like, I'll go into a house and remodel it before I even get to the kitchen. Like, I'm like, ooh, I would knock this wall out. I throw this. I do that all the time. But I love educating people. I'm more into coaching and teaching agents than I am into, just going out chasing new clients. I understand the laws and I understand the the business and the little nuances that they don't teach you in real estate school. Real estate school only teaches you how to not go to jail, basically. What? There's so many fair housing laws that can have your butt in jail and $250,000 in fine. Like, really? Oh yeah. So that's all real estate school teaches you how to do, is to not violate the law. That's all it is. So then you get your real estate license and you don't know what to do because they didn't teach you how to be an actual agent. People don't know that. People just like, I want to do real estate. One of the most common things I've had happen is me sell somebody's house and then they call me a couple months later like, oh my God, you made it look so easy. I went and got my license. Okay. Then I'll wait for them to call me back a few months later. I don't know what to do. I know.
Yeah, because I was like, honestly, just being open and transparent, I thought to be a real estate agent, all you do was just sell houses.
Yeah. But you got to know how to do it, like what to do. And so you can sell someone's house or you can work with buyers and sell them a house. So like, there's two sides of it. And that's residential, and there's also commercial. I'm able to rent houses, but I don't. And I tell people in a minute, I don't do rentals. No, rental might pay me $200. That same house, if I sell it, might pay me $10,000. Why would I waste my time? And it's literally the same paperwork. I'm not doing that.
Oh wow!
I'm not doing that. Think about me what you want to think. You better go on Zillow. I'm not messing with it.
Hey, at least they know. Don't come to you want to rent it.
I don't do rentals, and I don't know nobody to refer you to. We work hard for, and it costs a lot of money to be an agent. Like there's monthly fees, and I'm a realtor, which is another step above being just an agent. So that's we are held to a higher code of ethics. So that costs money. And like I said, I'm licensed in 3 states. I think Missouri realtor dues are like 1,500 a year. Georgia is like 500 a year. Kansas is another like 600, 700 a year.
Mm.
On top of the licensing fees. That's not even your license. The licensing fees, the MLS access, the key access. We have an electronic key. All of these things cost us money before we even sold a house. And you
Wow.
want to go around and look at 30, 40 houses because they popped up on your saved list on Zillow, baby. I'm gonna need a retainer fee.
Wow.
Because if you don't close, a real estate agent only gets paid the day you close a sale. So I've had people waste my time for 6 months. I've shown them house after house after house, wrote contract after contract that they decided to cancel. And then they call me and say, oh, I'm going to go ahead and sign a new lease. So I just wasted the last 6 months and don't get a dime.
Dang.
Yeah, that's what people don't understand about it. This is 100% commission. You kill what you eat what you kill. The end.
I did not know that.
Yes, this ain't for the faint of heart.
That's why they be so aggressive, tight.
And, and and that's why the fallout rate is 85%.
So you gotta want this.
You gotta want it. You gotta want it. Like you have to. And I didn't give myself a plan B. And when I set my eyes on what I wanted to make, I said I want to make this amount per month. I didn't do anything else. I stopped everything else because I had a bunch of side hustles. So real estate just fell in line as another side hustle.
Yeah.
When I stopped everything and I stopped giving myself a plan B, man, my income shot up like crazy.
It's interesting you said that because I'm at the same point too. I had all these side hustles, wanting to be a serial entrepreneur, but never focusing on one thing to build it up to be great, and then focusing on another. So that's where I'm at now. I got my property management company, which
I
is
love it.
OPC, and then I'm focusing on the Steady.Stepping.Podcast. Everything else is on shutdown.
I love it. I love it. And so I will definitely know to refer people. You in Georgia, right?
Yes, ma'am. But right now I'm out of town.
I mean, as far as your company.
Yeah. We based out of Georgia.
So I know I can refer people to you for that rental side. I don't even manage properties.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I've been having the kind of a mental fart in Georgia with getting this kicked off. So I took over a portfolio. I'm out here working on a portfolio now, getting getting my reins up, so that way when I do get back home, I'll have a better oversight of what actually goes into the day to day of property management outside of what I was doing when I was doing
And
it.
it's so funny because I actually work with the man who is like the property management guru, and
Oh,
I'm
really?
trying to help him develop his course to coach people on all the systems, everything to put in place. He's been doing it for 30 years, and right now he's got like thousands of units under him, and so I'm trying to tighten him down. So
Please listen. Please connect me with him.
for sure, I can
Definitely.
definitely make that
If you
happen.
need somebody to be a crash course tester for the course, I'll be him because
For sure.
definitely need help because it's not a lot of people out here really doing property management. I guess that I've seen outside of big companies, but I'm one of those people that if I'm gonna learn from somebody, I want to learn from somebody that I can actually be one on one with, not trying to learn from everybody
Hmm.
working in your business that don't know the business. They just know their
Right.
position.
Right.
Yeah, so I
Right.
definitely need that.
Yes. 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 Yeah. We can have a offline conversation for sure,
For sure.
and everything that I know about uh, the business, and then tie him in. Um, Man, it's beautiful. I love when we can, one hand can wash the other. That spirit of unity is the only thing that's going to push us all forward. Um, And if more people, I just was raised that way. Like I don't even know how to be any other way. It's really kind of cliche, but that's who I am and how I am. I know how to fall back now. My fallback game is wicked.
That thing strong.
That thing strong. When I see when my spidey senses start tingling and I see you move kind of sneaky, man, I will ignore you so hard you think you're invisible.
Man.
I promise you. You can't raise my blood pressure. I'm so like here all the time. I don't trip, but I sure will vanish on you.
Man. But see, the beautiful thing about that, when people realize that they got that type of person, I've realized that they adjust their energy real quick, or they just
Absolutely.
disappear they leave altogether.
Because they know they can't manipulate me, they can't strong arm me, and I am nowhere near the person that I used to be. This calm, even keeled person you see here is not who Karana always was. I will be the first to admit it. I always say it when it comes up in like a interview type situation, because I don't want somebody coming back later on, like if I mess around and get, heaven forbid, I get famous, and somebody say, "Ain't that the girl that used to?" Yeah, and I still will.
It look like that. That's that face of that other side. You don't want her to come back.
She's still there. She ain't dead now. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted.
It's hilarious that you just said that. Oh, you just brought some memories back in my mind.
Man, because too many times we try to like sneak around and hide from who we used to be. Nah, that's why I can speak from so many places of experience. I'm that chick. Where I'm from, I'm that chick. You ask around. My name Karana. I ain't never known another one.
Oh man, hey, hold up, time out. The tone just changed when you said it like that. No, it definitely. I'm Corona. Don't get sick.
Hey, 2-piece, no biscuit. You can get it if you want.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yes, but I thank God for growth.
That's
I'm so thankful. I definitely have come a long way. I don't let people get in my head like that. I think I was 41 when I had my last fight, like fist fight.
Oh wow. He said it's over with on that. We ain't even giving that type of energy out no more.
And I never did. It was people that used to come at me.
Mm.
I tried to help somebody and they were guilty and they're conscious. This girl, I let her stay in my house because she was being abused by her man. Excuse me, I let her stay in my house with me and my husband. And I never do that, but I felt bad. And that line never got crossed, but she just, I don't know, for whatever reason, she just attacked me one day and she found out.
She found out what that 2-piece tastes like.
Oh, she got about a 3-piece. She got the supersized nuggets.
Oh no!
What you're not gonna do is put your hands on.
Man, listen. We can have a conversation all day.
All day, all day,
that you want to get
all day. She told me I ain't moving out your house. I ain't paying you nothing. And then picked up a lamp to hit me with it. Okay.
Let's eat.
I guess you think this is a spectator sport.
Let's eat.
She got it good. Looking like Martin and Tommy Hearns.
Don't let that positivity get you.
If you want it, you can get it. Oh man. And that's the thing. I felt hurt because I thought I befriended this girl. I let her in my home with my husband. Like you sleeping in the next room. And you just come at me because and she had started to deal with the guy again. So she was feeling some kind of way for what I mean, we could have just talked about it. When she came in and came at me, I'm sitting at the table playing chess. Oh, wow. So, I'm always, and that's why I always, when I have to go there, I always know I'm justified. I always know I'm justified because I don't ever start anything. Never, my whole life. I ain't never been one to start nothing. When I was young and wild and would rather bust you in the mouth than hear you out, I still didn't start it. Yeah. I just could have waited a little bit longer. But, I never started. And that's why now I have so many communication skills, because I truly had to do an introspective search, like look within me to figure out what could you have done different, Karana? Did you have to stomp her out? It's funny to say, and I often use humor, y'all, but I'm being so sincere. I use it humorously, but I'm being sincere. You know, when you can look at things that you could have done differently, even when you were right, doesn't mean you have to take that action.
Right.
And so when I matured to the point where, man, you can't even get that out of me.
Mm-hmm.
You can't even get that out of me, bro. I'm gonna slap you with a lawsuit before I slap you.
They slap you on pen worse than to slap you in the face, because that.
My mother been telling me that my whole life. Just
I'm,
pen is mightier than the sword, and it took me. I promise you, I was in my 40s before I got it.
man, because that paperwork gonna follow you, and it's gonna.
Yes, but it also took me to start doing all these things I was doing, and that background check kept coming up.
Like,
See, what had happened was, like real estate, I'm a licensed insurance claims adjuster also, and I have a carry permit to carry a gun. You know how hard it is to get a carry permit when you got violent charges.
oh yeah, they want to know what record.
Like, ma'am, what is this? You did you read the charges against you?
I see them,
But see, Your Honor, what had happened? Well, I promise you, I go into court. I did it. Rockdale County was Judge Washington, I think it's his name. I promise you, I did it. But Your Honor, what had happened was he couldn't do anything but laugh. Where's that? He couldn't do anything but laugh. Yeah. And I don't say this boastfully, but that's my carry permit. That's my concealed carry. And I had at one time the most questionable. I had 5 felonies on my head. Wow. And I still got that because I cleaned up my life. And it wasn't even that I had to clean anything up, but what it looks like on paper looks like. And that's what they look at. That will stop you from getting some jobs. That will stop you from getting some licenses, some credentials that can further your life. Like, bruh, that was 25 years ago. You still holding that against me? It's on your record. The FBI don't care about the date. Just so y'all know. When you get some of these licenses, they go the whole lifetime. They want to know your elementary school. They want, literally everything. Everything. Your family, like some licenses, if you're applying for security clearance, federal security clearance, man, they're going to dig. Do you have any known terrorists in your family? Do you have, they go through your family, not just you. Because you could give somebody access to something. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I had to do a lot of stuff. And the one where I had the 5 felonies, that was because somebody hit me. And it was somebody I was in a relationship with, and he hit me, and I went and got my cousin. My cousin did him in. Not killed him. But you know what I'm saying? So we ended up getting charged. So I should have just went and pressed charges and then let the streets handle it. Right. But I didn't. So I'm not advocating violence. I'm telling y'all this so that you can some way maybe learn from what I didn't do right. Because that was in 2001 and it's still haunting me. Every time I apply for something, it comes up. 2001. So usually I don't even talk about stuff like this, but I share it because somebody need to know what you're doing now. It will absolutely stick around. It'll come back to haunt you. That job you want when you finally get your life together, they're going to ask you about it.
Yeah, because them background checks, they get to finding stuff you forgot about. Like,
yep.
Bruh, I forgot about that. Had back that paperwork, did you?
Yes. And the most hurtful part about that is I literally forgot about it because when I say I spent a lot of money on lawyers, I got it broken down to misdemeanor disorderly conduct from 5 felonies. And my son got locked up in Las Vegas, and I applied to go see my son. when I filled out the application, I think it said convictions or felonies or something like that. But now I'm forever denied from seeing my son because of that.
What?
So when I tell you, be mindful of what you do. Every choice you make can come back to bite you. The worst thing that I did was not go to the hospital after I was assaulted by that man. I should have gone to the hospital, but instead I was mad at the audacity. And I went to the projects and came back. 2001, Easter Sunday.
Hmm.
It still haunt me. I ain't seen my son since 2014.
That's powerful.
The most, the greatest power you will ever have is choice. Exercise it. I done got emotional. I ain't seen my baby. 9 years. So think, think. Anytime somebody is getting under your skin, always ask yourself, now what? Or then what? If I do this, then what?
Yeah.
If you can't answer that question yet, don't act it.
Steady stepper, steady stepper. Y'all know these are the real conversations that truly help others in their journey to stop something that could happen that could truly affect them down the road.
Yes.
This is why I make sure I go get people from all walks of life. We got to tap into our
Whew.
resources wherever they are because each one of us is successful in our own way and all of our experiences can help one another. All of our experiences, like she's taught me a lot of things on this episode, like very, very, very powerful episode. And I just truly want to say thank you for your vulnerability and your honesty with the Steady Steppers, because most definitely we need this. This unity within the community that we're a part of, because she's a part of the morning meetup community as well.
Yes, sir.
So that's how we connected. We're another family. But this right here are the real conversations that a lot of times aren't had. A lot of times just go by the wayside. But somebody needed to hear this. Somebody needed that remembrance of think twice before you act, like in carpentry. Measure twice, cut
Cut
once.
once. Yes. Yes.
Because once you make that cut,
That's it.
you can't take it back.
Ain't no board stretcher.
No. You can't reattach the board, even if you try to reattach it with some wood glue and some
Eh,
sawdust to make it strong, it'll never be the
never.
same.
Never.
I live with moments like that from decisions I've made still to this day, like, damn, Destiny, you know you shouldn't even been doing that. But because you didn't think from a logical perspective and weigh all your options, now you gotta live with that decision. And then
Yep.
you can't blame it on nobody else because
Go
like
back.
like Karana was saying, like you made that choice. We made the choices that we made that got us here.
Yep.
So we gonna close down this episode because I know y'all got some thinking to do because I know I'm gonna be doing some self reflecting today. Really truly be doing some self reflecting and just like Destiny. You see where it's gotten you to here. Let's not let those same situations and choices get us worse than where we already are. Because we're not definitely don't get me misunderstood. We're not at a bad place. But we can always be better.
Yes.
We can always make better choices. And we can always think clearer.
Yes.
Because man, the power in that pen that them people put behind that paperwork. Boy, that's a whole
Oh
different
my
situation.
gosh. That yeah, that's
Cause see, we as brown people sometimes we act out of emotion.
yes.
And that's dangerous when you got somebody that know how to act on paper. Because see, when you put it on paper first, then everything emotionally is justified.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's learn how to do the process. Let's learn how to do the process properly. So then we won't have no bad standings once everything else unfolds. If you understand what
Yes.
I'm saying.
Because we in the game whether we want to play or not.
Hello, tell them again. Tell them again.
In the game whether we want to play or not.
Because man, that paperwork gonna follow you. I don't care if you get a speeding ticket. If you say you
Yeah.
want to drive later on down the road, and you driving a certain thing, that situation may come back up because they put it on paper.
Yeah.
That's where they X us out so many times. Not because we not qualified to actually complete the task. It's because they qualified us on paper, and now they're judging us based on this document.
Yep.
That ain't even you no more. So I love y'all, steady steppers. Y'all make sure y'all go tap in. Let them know one more time where they can reach you at.
Blowing Bubbles Podcast, all platforms. And phone number is 404-492-6510.
Man, and shout out to the morning meetup, because y'all know the morning meetup usually gets to enroll on the Steady Stepping podcast, because there's so much value. We don't make no money off the morning meetup when we tell y'all to come, but we just want y'all in the community so y'all can have these these breakthroughs in y'all life. Because
Sure.
when I got in that community and to hear these other people's thoughts, it facilitated different thoughts in my mind outside of the community that I was so comfortable being in.
I just always say iron sharpens iron. Man, you get in a room full of swords, you don't have a choice but to be anything but a sword.
Or,
Like,
hey, or they gonna cut you alive.
man, and you will feel some kind of way if everybody is excelling and you just sitting there on chill. Like, why are you even here? You get up every morning to come here just to chill. We're not chilling. We sharing ideas. We having $1 billion conversations, man. What you doing?
Telling you,
Like,
I ain't
this is the cool kids club, in my opinion.
gonna. I'll tell you, hey, the $1 trillion trigger room,
For real.
the trillion
For
dollar
real.
trigger room.
Yes.
I've been like,
We are definitely everybody's legacy minded. Everybody. Everybody.
I, when I first came to the morning meetup, I used to, and this is a full transparent moment for me. I used to hear people just speaking about everything they was doing, and I used to kind of feel some type of way, like, why they always bragging? But then I had to look at myself. I said, why you get mad because they bragging, they doing good things? Maybe you need to get some better things going on besides what you've been doing for the past 5 years that you ain't really elevated on.
Self reflection. All you got to do is look within.
Hello.
Always, I learned to ask myself, what did I do to contribute to where I'm at? No matter what it is, be it good or bad. I used to have an aspiration to go to the Olympics. I was by the time I was 12, I was a nationally ranked track star.
Hmm.
And there came a point where I had to say, what did I do or not do to get myself where I'm at? I ain't had a work ethic I have now. I had the talent. I was definitely fast enough. But I had my eyes set on Evelyn Ashford. I wanted to dethrone Evelyn Ashford. I ain't had a work ethic to even race Evelyn Ashford on the Olympic level, much less beat her. That was on me. I used to blame on my daddy. If my daddy would have did me like Venus and Serena daddy, if my daddy would have did me like Joe Jackson, it was me, my dream. My daddy was busy being daddy, working in the mill. I would be upset because he didn't push me. For real, Corona?
That's that accountability we be talking about.
Yes. Yes. So, when we take ownership, we don't have nobody else to blame. The mantle is on our shoulders. Period.
We writing this story.
And period. Period.
Can't say it no better than that.
Yep. And a lot of people don't understand that our stories are written in pencil. We got the power to erase some of that stuff.
Ooh, wait.
And if you don't go back and change that line, change the whole paragraph, matter of fact. Go ahead, Alt Control Delete, and go ahead and write a whole new book. Man, come on.
Let's start over from page 1.
The draft might have said final draft, but you can go ahead and scrap that. Just write a whole new book.
So
Like,
we gave y'all some things to reflect on, y'all, and that's why I love being able to facilitate this show, because though I'm the conductor of the show, this is not my show. This show is for y'all. This show is for us. This show is for everybody to come on, to really have a platform to let everybody know their pivotal breakthrough. Because if every episode only helps one person break through, just imagine 30 years down the road, if we got over 10,000 episodes, how many breakthroughs that we have had through the podcast. And then look, and then think bigger about how many lives that those 10,000 will affect.
yes, it's a ripple effect.
Yes. We're going to keep fighting for y'all. You just got to fight too. You got to fight for yourself, and we're going to back you up.
Period. I love it. Oh, I
So
love it. I'm here for the Steady Stepping family too.
let's grow. Hey, y'all already know she got emotional, so we listen.
I don't do that.
I'm telling you. So peace and blessings, and thank you for coming to blow bubbles with the Steady Stepping podcast.
Thank you. Hold up, hold up, hold up. Y'all know I'm for real
Oh,
about
she want to blow some bubbles. Let's grow. Y'all see, hey, we taking off like them bubbles taking off like
Stay popping.
let's get it. Hey, we'll see y'all next week on the Steady Stepping podcast. Thank y'all, thank y'all, thank y'all. And remember, you write your story when you are willing to take control of that pencil and put it on paper. Don't let nobody else write you on paper. You write what you want to see you. You write how you want to see yourself on paper. So we're gonna see y'all next week with another lit situation. And maybe we're gonna have another guest. Maybe it's just gonna be me. You don't know. That's why you gotta tap in so we can grow. So peace and blessings, and y'all make sure y'all go tap in with her. I love y'all. Later.
Bye.